all went through when we attended the basic police academy.
What's
So
up,
it's
fam? I got
a
something they got
application
going live,
process
but
that
I
citizens can
think this is an
submit.
old video. I don't know
They
if
will
this one new,
be
but I'm gonna put it up for y'all. Hold
reviewed
on one
and
second.
then accepted.
Let me put it up. I
Someone
don't
like
know.
a
It
neighbor
says
may have a
April
cohort,
21st. That's why
very similar to the
I didn't want to
Florida
start yet.
or
Absolutely.
okay.
Go.
So
Not what, let me, not the physical activity, not running and jogging and all that.
okay.
It won't
Oh,
be.
oh, it's the right one. My bad. I'm out, fam.
So what is then the intended useful purpose for sending these persons through? What will they be able to assist with after completion?
So, utmost importance, they will gain knowledge of our policy procedures and how we respond to crimes and our reactions to crimes, certain incidents. They will be viewing real live body worn camera footage, real live crime scenes, things of that nature. So that would give them a better understanding what these officers go through on a day-to-day basis, number one.
Okay.
And then we will have after they go through this, we will have a volunteer. They can sign up and be volunteers if they choose to or don't choose to. But that's the ultimate goal.
Volunteer to do what?
Whatever they want. They can answer phones. They can be at our mini stations, which we already have volunteers there. But they will have a greater knowledge of police activity.
Is this the expansion of an existing program or is this a new program?
This is a pilot program.
This is a pilot program. Has it already been built out with this curriculum and all, or?
That's what we're in the process doing now, the curriculum, the schedule, things of that nature.
So is curriculum development being done in-house or is there an outside?
It's done in-house. This pilot project has been done in other communities, and we're basically attempting to mirror those already existing Citizen Police Academy and fit it to the mold what we do here in the city of Flint.
So for the officer or officers that are developing the curriculum, how much of their time is being allocated towards this endeavor?
Probably an hour a day.
An hour a day.
Depends on what the schedule is of the Citizen Police Academy.
Okay. And do you have a goal as to how many persons to go through with the first cohort?
We're looking at 20.
20?
Possibly 20.
Okay. And what is the projected cost of the program for the first iteration?
I don't have an exact cost, but it cost is minimal. We're doing everything in-house. We're not hiring anyone from outside.
And it's not going to cost anything to have them utilize the simulators and those type of things?
Simulators owned by us.
Okay. And will we have officers that are going to have to facilitate the training?
Absolutely.
And is that going to be part of their regular, however many hours salary week or what?
Yeah, it's going to be part of their normal duties.
In addition to their normal duties, I'm assuming.
No, it won't take away from their normal duties.
Okay.
Because each instructor, we're looking at an hour, if that.
Okay. An hour per. How often are they going to meet, and how long will the cohort run?
That's what we're trying to develop now.
Okay.
We're trying to decide the schedule.
Okay.
That's won't be time consuming for us, and we won't bore those cadets.
And then the community engagement coordinator. What is that in practice?
That's the sergeant. He's also in charge of our PAL program. He's responsible for our community engagement. So if we get invited to several community events, and he's the coordinator of that. He comes to me and says, hey, we have a group that's having a neighborhood association meeting. They want someone present. They want you present, Chief, at this meeting. He's coordinating all those efforts. He's also working with the Crim Foundation, National PAL program. He has several duties he's responsible for. So.
And is that the person who's also going to oversee the Community Policing Academy or no?
Yes.
Okay. And then there was another slide, and I apologize that I was a few minutes behind. And it's the intelligence real time. I think it was right after, or slide or two after that. Yes. This is a new, is this also a new endeavor or no?
No.
This, okay. So that,
The threat management unit is,
can you talk a little bit more about that? When you, because I heard you mention, or could you share again what that focus is for that group?
the threat management unit.
Mm-hmm.
So if a threat comes in, Councilwoman Tanya Burns said, somebody called my phone and said he was gonna kill me. We're gonna investigate it. That investigation, instead of going through the normal, chain of investigations, like reports taken, and it goes to the detective bureau or detective assignment. The real-time crime center and intel center, they have the capabilities, they have the technology, they have the knowledge and the expertise to investigate those thoroughly and to see if there is a valuable threat or not. We want those type of threats and those type of incidents to get immediate and isolated attention. So, as I stated, to avoid any type of violence and prevent it.
How many, is that going to be is that a full-time effort, or is that in addition to something that someone is already doing?
It's in addition to what the intel analysts are already doing. They do this on a daily basis. That's why it's more conducive and efficient to run it through the intel center.
Okay. And I don't know, again, I may have missed it in your opening comments and that, but overall, as it relates to the budget, how much of an increase, if there be one, are you asking for over the previous year's budget? Overall for police department
I
and
have our financial, Angela.
okay. So 1.5 additional over what was approved for 20. I yield.
Can Angela still get that for us, please? Thank you.
Hi, Chief.
Hello.
How's it going? Good. Good evening, everyone that's here with the chief. I'm gonna try to keep this really brief because I only have really two things that I want to dive into here. With the new salaries and wages, is that including? Excuse me, with the increase, is that including the new salaries and wages that were? Are we seeing those numbers here represented from the contracts recently approved? No. I keep hearing that about it, a couple of different things, but like we have some new things that are affecting this budget now, correct? So can we get a budget that's actually reflective of, because we said this in the last budget hearing as well, that there were some things that and I understand, I appreciate y'all for preparing it in December. Thank you very much. But again, we've had quite a few budgetary things that have changed since this was prepared. So can we get something that accurately reflects what we'll actually be making a decision for moving forward? Mm. Mhm. Right. Right. No, no, I hear you, right? But what I'm saying is when we say yes or no to a budget, we're saying yes or no to some of those things that have been added or decided on since you've prepared it. No problem. I hear you. I appreciate your confidence and I would love to see the additions in an accurate budget. Thank you. And then I just want to go a little bit more into, and you've already said that you're going to get us the numbers for the NSOs and all of that. Um, we've had some turnover. I guess I have three questions. So we've had some turnovers as far as the NSOs are concerned, correct?
Yeah, we've hired, still
Mhm.
vacancies right now.
Hired, thank you.
We only have one vacancy.
Okay, and what ward is currently experiencing that vacancy?
I don't recall the, board that, NSO came from.
Okay, so but we currently have 8,
Yes,
and then there's someone covering 2 wards.
right now. Yeah, we're in the process of, filling that vacancy.
Okay. And yeah, so I probably would have some more questions if I had those NSO numbers in real time. So what I'll probably do once I get those numbers from you is I will send forward some more questions that before I vote on the budget, I would like an answer to.
Yep.
Thank you. And then the drug forfeiture fund. Um, how much is currently in that fund? Oh, it's a little negative. Oh. You said 600,000? So how much, and I know all three of those total make up that 600,000. So individually, how much? 200,000 each? Okay. All right, so we're looking at 600,000 in that particular fund. Do you already have um what you're going to use those particular dollars for, Chief? Okay. It's in the name. Yeah. I just wasn't expecting to be talking about controlled buys, but yeah. Just the 55,000 out of the 600,000? Are mhm. Okay. Do you know how much of that is going to go, all 200 is going back to Treasury? Okay. So we're still just kind of looking at 400,000 then more so. And with that 400,000, do you already have an idea of what you will do with that money?
Yeah, only time we use that is if something, comes up that unexpected as far as, I think right now, as Angela stated, only thing we were looking for is a vehicle, but other than
Mhm.
that, I can't think of anything.
But is that something that can be used for trainings or things of that nature too? Can't use it for
We
that.
use for training and we
Mhm.
can use for overtime.
Training and overtime?
Yes.
Overtime. Yeah. Would definitely
So we
prioritize
use
over
it for
training. Yeah.
anything, it would be overtime.
And I can see that why that would be a priority. Only reason I ask, and I know there are grants, and they're really good grants, right, that we receive. But I know with those grants, you can only pick certain categories, and you can only do a certain number of them, correct? So has there been any thought to use some of that money for some other trainings that you might not have picked that category for?
Yeah, that and, as training come available,
Mm-hmm.
the issue is some of the training that would benefit us is only held annually, once a year.
Right.
So some of it's already been, like some of the, training that I would be interested in for the lieutenant. It's already been scheduled for May.
Okay. And are you going to go after any more grants? Because again, there's been an increase in salaries and wages, and so I know that's gonna pull some of the funds. So are we looking at what particular grants do you have in mind outside of ones that we've already approved?
Well, we apply for every grant. that's
Okay.
Like technology grants, that helps our budget. A lot of technology grants we use to offset using general fund money.
Mm-hmm.
So majority of our technology grants have been successful. We just
Okay.
applied for one for additional cameras last week. So,
Mhm.
and also we applied with one for the federal government to assist us with the building of our new public safety facility,
Yes.
training facility.
So I have a question. Is there a contingency plan on that? Because when we look at the federal government, which is now insolvent, we know that there may be monies used to be dispersed in whatever areas that the federal government has going on. So now when we talk about Flint, we're talking about public safety, and we're talking about that training facility, which is going to be huge for us, right? Not only are we going to be able to get revenue off of that, but we'll be able to continue our expert training right here in our city, which I believe will also help with sustaining officers and also getting more officers. And so I am in full support of that and that facility being completed. But I'm nervous about us relying on federal dollars for that. So what are we looking at just in case something goes wrong federally and that capital money doesn't come through? Is there a contingency plan for that?
Yes, so we're looking at our philosophic partners. We're looking at every avenue of funding that's possible, and to offset any general fund money we use. But there's several contingencies
Okay.
that we're looking at on a daily basis.
And by how much is that facility going to cost to build to completion, inside and out?
Well, right now, the initial cost was roughly around 12 to 14 million.
12 to 14 million? And the federal government, that request was for how much?
I'm not sure how much they requested.
I did know the answer, but I don't remember right off the top of my head anymore. Mr. Moore, do you know how much that request was for? Okay. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna move on from there because that's just one of those things that you're kind of not in control of, especially when it comes to federal government and what's happening. Cool. Thank you, Judy. With the Intel Center, about how much does it cost for us to run that? Can we get that? Okay, thank you. And every time we add additional feeds because I know that people can contact, so like gas stations, grocery stores, they can contact the Flint Police Department and become a part of that Intel Center and have us watch. Is there an additional cost that we incur to add those feeds to us? No. So it's going to be whatever that total. Okay.
Our biggest cost is personnel.
All right. Thank you. And I'll look for that number for you. Thank you.
Good evening, Chief, and thank you, Captain Urquhart, Aunt Cliff, and we have, is it is it Sergeant Jones? Thank you for being here. And I do want to say with Officer Catlin is a good officer, and he is appreciated for the work that he has done in this community because that was domestic violence, and I truly do believe he saved her life, and victims should be heard. I do want to go into how many backlog cases do we have for detectives working? So for each detective, how many cases are they working or allotted? I know there was a lot.
I couldn't get. I wouldn't even try to guess that number, but detectives. So we have detectives assigned to the major crimes unit, which they're on a homicide team. So they rotate on duty call. So they have those cases in addition to miscellaneous felony cases like assaults, things of that nature. So they could have a number of cases. And in addition to that, once they assign up there, if a detective leaves that unit,
Yeah, they
they
get
absorb their cases.
cases.
So to give you an exact number.
Well, I
can
don't
tell
need
you
an
the time.
exact, if I can get and it's a total number. So are there 10,000, 20,000? How many backlog cases? Because I know we have quite a few that people call, and I send them to you, that they've got cases that they have not been able to be solved.
Yes.
So
Well,
do we have a number?
We have several cases that's solvable, but it could be,
People don't speak up.
that's correct.
Yeah. And so, and they're not going to, a lot of them will not.
Yes.
You know, it's snitches
Cases
get
are
stitches or
solvable.
whatever,
They
yeah.
know they know who
Yeah.
the suspect is, but without a eyewitness cooperating, it makes it difficult.
So you should still have a number on how many cases that we have unsolved.
Yeah, well, I have a number. I just don't know if,
Okay, can you just, send me, it doesn't have to be an exact number.
Yep.
If we can just get a roundabout number,
you're
please.
talking about cold cases.
Cold, it could be cold, well, your cold cases, then you've got cases where the youth, the gangs don't talk. You know, when we hear a shooting, we know that there'll be another shooting, because it's retaliatory. And life is not something that they value, many of them, as they run around here brandishing guns. And I didn't grow up like that. So my other question, if you can get that for me, traffic stops. People, we have what, one traffic officer on the road? How many do we have?
Each shift has a.
Each
there's
shift
four
has one?
squads. Each squad has a traffic investigator.
Okay.
As well as the traffic division.
So and I do see, I don't know what, wow, I call it stings. I was told the Michigan State Police call them, what is it, wild packs, or what is it? They call, so each department calls them something different. And so are we increasing these because Ballinger Highway, and I know you travel that, and they fly up and down there, and even putting the monitor with the speed does not decrease. They don't care. They're still doing donuts in the street. I mean, you hear them taking off. I hear them every day. So is there anything, I mean, we can do? I think presence of a police officer and strategically placed is a deterrent. We've got Save a Lot that's up there. We've got Amico, used to be Sunoco. I mean, just strategically placed, I mean, slows them down also, because people don't feel they see a presence of the police.
So our traffic enforcement is guided, it's evidence-based and data-driven. So we focus on the locations where the data is high.
Well, Ballinger's always high.
Well, Ballinger might not be as high as other locations.
Robert T. Longway.
Robert T. Long,
Long-
Dort Highway.
and Dort High,
We concerned with Dort Highway right now. We put up, we procured two travel trailers.
With the speed?
Move for the speed, and it records and does all that, but we only have two of them. So those are moved around. Right now, one is located on ML King, just north of Pearson. And the reason why it's there is because there's an apartment complex there that the management staff and the residents were complaining, and I saw it.
In the
because
curve?
of that curve there.
Yeah.
People are traveling at a high rate of speed, they run off the roadway, and one vehicle drove right through an apartment right there. close to the
Losing
roadway.
control.
So right now, that's where our travel trailer is, and a lot of our initiatives are being conducted in that area.
So is there anything we can do, not me, because I'm not the police, to slow down the traffic? Stop signs and lights are optional in Flint. They could care less about a stop sign. You did get the lighted stop sign on Westcomb and Sunset. On two of them, I don't know why you didn't put on the third one. I don't know, is it waiting to come in? It's the one that's going eastbound
I
on,
would have to check it
yeah.
out.
And so I think having that, people do see it. It's more visual that they can see it, but Flint residents need to slow down. It's like the Autobahn. There's no speed limit here. And it's dangerous, especially as our children are out in the street playing with the basketball hoops. They don't want to go to the parks, and they're pulling them out into the streets. And I don't care what street you live on, you will see generally a basketball hoop, and there are no parents around. And it's the same, even on my street, there's two of them that the kids pull them out. and they don't move. It's a different culture now.
Well, I think the problem with the basketball goals, and we've been informing the parents and the kids, a lot of them not aware that they're not allowed in the
Yeah.
streets.
And
So-
thank you for Captain Urquhart sending me the ordinance. That was really professional, and I called to tell you thank you. So I did leave a message because it was bothering a veteran from the Gulf War, and certain things can set off his PTSD. So thank you and Chief for addressing that. I appreciate that. I do want to get into, Chief, I've spoken to you about the animal cruelty and the dog fighting. I've had several dogs thrown in, some in garbage bags, some weren't in garbage bags. The dogs have multiple bites on them, which we know that they've been in dog fights. And it's not uncommon to see them. They throw them generally, the discarded bodies, in between the street and the sidewalk. I was concerned, and I received several calls with the press conference that was had Friday, that there was a dead dog tied to a tree. And once the press conference was gone, a animal rescue showed up and took a picture with the dead dog in her arms. Is there a reason why we didn't remove the dog when the press conference was over?
I'm not familiar with a dead dog.
Well, the news, all of the news they actually were out there. We're not going to show the dog. It's back in the back right-hand corner. But I'll send you the picture. She sent it to me. And I'll send you, I don't know which news, 5 in Mid-Michigan now had it where the dog was tied to a tree and he was dead. With the house with the tires behind it. But the dog was left there. What are we doing about, are we going after anything to go after the animal cruelty? People love their pets. I had a rescue dog who had a bullet in him. So is there anything we're doing about making sure our pets, and when we get these calls, is there anything that we're doing?
Well, we have a new enacted animal cruelty, as you know, ordinance, but anyone can call. They can call our tip line. They can call Crime Stoppers if they suspect a dog fighting ring or active dog fighting or cruelty towards animals. We respond to those calls and we investigate.
So one
But
of the
it's a larger issue than that.
Well,
It's
yeah.
a partnership between
Animal
us,
control.
animal control, and the sheriff's department.
So with animal control, and you and I have talked about this before, being closed, technically they stop taking calls at 2:00 p.m. because they're trying to, finish up the number of calls. And then they're closed holidays and weekends. So one of the things with some of these groups, which we talked about, is maybe trying to secure some funding where they can pick up these dogs. I had one of the worst dog bites where a resident, she lost her leg because of a vicious dog. And Mott Park, they seem to love dumping their dogs there for some reason. They discard them and they leave them. And so we're seeing a lot of dogs just walking around. And it's dangerous because people want to walk in their neighborhoods, and especially the seniors, for exercise and just for enjoyment. And there's a lot of dogs.
Yeah, they call 911. They say it's a vicious dog in the area, or they're afraid of a dog. All they have to do is call 911, and we respond to those calls.
I will send you, if I can send to you, and I've been CCing Captain Urquhart, we need to do something about the dogs. And this is not enough time. What time is this, over 6:30? What time is it now? Okay, thank you.
Okay, I want to remind fellow council members that this is a budget hearing, and please stick to how initiatives that you are interested in will affect the budget so that we do this. Anyways, I'm going to go to the NSO issues because last year's budget, I believe, ended up, you had requested additional money for NSOs. And this would help alleviate some of the problems with other NSOs covering people being off, sick, whatever. Do you only budget for 9 NSOs in this budget?
No, I just was informed that we budgeted for more, so we'll be hiring additional to the.
How many additional? There's 13 in the budget, and I think that's what was in the budget for last year. So I think that that is a very good thing because there's, you could then you can do the hot spots because I know at certain times you have actually done concentrated different wards, and that would be great. Wards, and that would be great. Great. Um, how many drones do we use? Do you not want to answer? Do we have any drones?
We have drones.
Okay, because some of the complaints that I've had. It helped alleviate some of the following of people with issues and, the more drones we can use to get more intel, the better. To get more intel, the better. Complaints that I've received would benefit benefit from having those drones so that we're not having,
Kind of mimic each other, and then there's a concert that's there also. Um,
Yeah, family, this ain't me. This the city council feed that's doing this.
My other question is, you had stated we had
My
an up.
bad. My bad. Yeah, this this all Paul. or whoever running their internet down there.
Tick. What did you mean? I think it was in January, February.
Hey, family, hold on one second.
What was, what did you mean,
Let
an
me redo
uptick?
this thing real quick.
Resident
we go.
policing program, but how do we connect the residents to where they're comfortable with the police, with the program? But how do we connect the residents to where they're comfortable with the police, with that program that you, Citizen Police Academy?
Well, the Citizen Police Academy isn't to address, the juvenile gang violence. It's to bridge that gap between the police department and the community, building trust, so the community feels trust, that they can trust the police department to call with those tips, call with those information. And confidentially, I can say, we are receiving those calls. We
Are you?
receiving tips on who's out there carrying the guns and who's involved in this gang activity. I'm receiving them personally. So, and we're responding, we're investigating. So we just continue to build our community engagement activity. And
How many dollars do we spend on gangs? I know there's a Kia gang, which someone called me that they steal Kias.
it depends. That is not, those type of investigations aren't the sole responsibility of the police department. I have an officer assigned to the gang auto theft unit. They investigate those.
Is that a part of FANG? Do our dollars go into, they're not?
We don't, only thing we fund to gang is an officer and their grant. They provide, I think, 65%, 37% of our wages
So 37% of the wages
for that officer assigned.
for, and it's just one.
Just one.
And then the balance of the wages, the city pays for. Okay, and it's one officer. How many gangs do we have? Do we know? Because
we have multiple gangs and they're
do you need more funding for?
I mean, as far as our response to gang activity, it's officers. We just need more officers, and we're in the hiring process. All of our activity is based on our staffing level.
How many full-time officers do we have right now? Minus command staff? Thank you. So Captain Urquhart, you're one of those. So we have, okay. Can you email that to us also? And then too, like some of the things, like when you send out when you're hiring, can you send them to us so we can share on our social media?
Sure.
I always share those along with the PAL because I want our community to be safe. It's always important. And then maybe we can share them with, do they already go out to the churches?
Our advertising for hiring has been very successful. We're getting applications on a daily basis. The problem is the officers. So if there's a applicant that hasn't been to the basic police academy, we only hold police academies twice a year. So
And that's what mine.
and the next one, yes, the next one is not until September of August. So we go through all the testing. We already, we have the lineup of officers that we're going to hire and send there. But 2 police academies a year, that stalls us on hiring unless the person is already certified.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. My plan last time was to keep it brief, but I will definitely keep it brief and keep it budget connected. I just have a couple of questions here, and you can probably answer these for me. So when we're looking at, and this just this handout, when we're talking about state revenue, charges for services, and other revenue, in the budget, it's $80,000 for that for state revenue. Can you break down what that means? I'm sorry. What did you say? Okay. And the same thing with the charges for services. So we have $726,575 for that. And then do we know what goes into this other revenue where we have the 315,000 budgeted? Okay. And then this is on the police department neighborhood policing fund. I just want to make sure I understand this particular thing. So when we're here, and we're talking about current real property taxes, delinquent personal property taxes, payment in lieu of taxes. Help me understand this. Yes. Okay. So this is just basically saying from like the property taxes and delinquent personal property taxes, how much of that will be used for the police budget, if I'm understanding you correctly. Help me understand what that's for. I'm sorry, go ahead. Right. So then, correct, that's what this is for, is how much we expect to get from each of those. Um, no, no problem. Thank you. I appreciate that. So from current real property taxes, we're expecting 1,972,413. Uh, no, actually, I'm learning something. So you're helping me out. Thank you. No, that's great. And then local community stabilization share. What's that? Okay. And how much do we get total? Or is this 85,000 what we get total from that? Or how much do we get total? Yes, because I see it's 85,000 here for the proposed police budget. So there's a larger number than the 85 for the entire city? Okay, again, that's the local community stabilization share. Thank you. Appreciate that. And then what's Bureau Patrol? What's fourth shift?
Pardon me?
What's fourth shift? Is that just what you call the NSO shift?
Yeah.
Okay. It's nice to learn the terminology. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, y'all hand me a piece of paper and go through it. So I think I'm gonna yield the rest of my time because I pretty much have an understanding about everything else, but you're gonna get me those items. I appreciate, well, the council, you're gonna get the council those items. I appreciate that. I don't think that I already asked those questions. General fund, I'm set. I'm good. Thank you so much for your time, Chief. Thank you, everyone who joined this evening.
Thank you. There was the NSO statistics. Can you bring that one up again for me, please? Now, those violations, so I'm seeing blight tickets and that would come, is that the only line item there that comes with a collectible infraction, or are there others?
Well, all of those are collectible infractions, except for the, well, it's not even on it, except for the warnings. So if they're issued a citation, I guess, say, vehicles parked in the yard, and that has to go through, because they don't comply, they have to go through blight court. There's a fine attached to that.
So is the fine attached at the point the ticket is issued or after?
It depends on
court.
what type of ticket is issued. If it's just a ticket issued to move your vehicle off the lawn, the city property or their lawn, they're given a certain amount of days to move it, and there's no cost attached to it if they comply
Mhm.
with the citation. There's other ones, the cleanup, the trash accumulated on private property. If they clean that up, there's no fine or anything attached to that.
Okay, so where do we look to see what has been collected in citations by way of the neighborhood safety officers? Is that somewhere in this budget?
Yes.
Okay. So the NSOs issue it, and the line item that collects it is in blight. Okay. Okay. And is there then a way to find out the difference between issued and collected? Okay. And then do we have additional recourse or enforcement for collection of unpaid violations or citations? Okay, good. Because it's one thing to write a citation, another thing to collect it. And in some cases, it almost can feel very similar to what Councilwoman was saying about, stop signs and street lights optional. Sometimes persons feel like, and what you gonna do about it, Good. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Um, okay, though that was really what sort of popped out, in addition to really trying to understand how combating some of the issues might add to the need, as far as the budget goes. Adding, is there additional human resource that ends up being financial resource needed to address some of the concerns that the councilwoman brought up around the gangs and that, as well as, some of the concerns around the animal cruelty, just, what recognizing, and I think I heard recognition by you, Chief, that those are issues. In the recognition there too, what additional supports would truly be needed to bring about impact? And, again, supports that start out or are human, recognizing that there are monetary and budgetary impacts that come along with those as well. That expressed, I'll yield the rest of this time.
Madam Chair, may I ask a quick question? Under the Police Fire Department Public Safety Fund, where they have state grants or other activities. I noticed there isn't anything proposed for 26, 27. I know that there are some grants that we do go after every year. Is that not accurate?
We go after, you have to renew on every grant that we have.
So is there a reason why it's not proposed in the budget? This particular one, because we were given 3 or 4. Thank you.
And most of my questions have already been answered throughout the time and through other discussions throughout time, the last several months. So I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and call this budget hearing to a close. And thank you very much, Chief, and your fellow officers for coming. Appreciate it very much. And you will be getting an email from Davina
All right.
with additional questions. Thank you.
I'll get that next chief a hard time.
Yep, we can't start until 6:30.
I like how Judy, everything is about. She's saying it can't start until 6:30. It's the budget. I'm not trying to come in and steal no shine. Put me back right here, but this is downright diabolical. They all laughing right now, and I mean, and like how Judy steady cutting Tanya off when she trying to tug. And you're right, Marcia, talk with the little jab Candace through. That's why I'm telling you, I hope the Seventh Ward looking at what's going on. All I look at the fire chief, he can just smile. Ain't nothing like collecting a paycheck. I tell you that much. Ain't nothing like collecting a paycheck. And you see how they got them working with one mic. This is terrible. The dome, you mean to tell me he had mics up there when he up in there talking? You know what, Delton? I think they probably would go ask the question, but you know the mayor gonna micromanage. He want to be in there with him. Like this is This is some treachery. This is just downright terrible. I wouldn't pass no budget. It'd be a budget with cuts. Damn sure in that mayor office. If that car not there, if you don't supposed to have that, it's not, even though I'm just saying, family, you never know. But that will be coming out. It will be coming out. Oh, you right, Marche Tarbridge. I know we getting ready for this chip. It's about time Michigan get a chip. Hold on. For sure. He said same story. What you say? Woody Wood said same story, different year. Right about that. But while we waiting on that, family, y'all know what time it is. Let me put this back up.
It is now 6:32, and I'm calling the budget hearing for Fire Department to order. For the record, council members in attendance is Judy Priestley, Tanya Burns, Candace Mashat, and Jonathan Jarrett. Go ahead, Chief Wiggins.
Good afternoon, everybody, members of the council. And we're here to present our budget for the next fiscal year. I gave you handouts, basically kind of an annual of our firefighter runs, our ambulance runs, and I also gave you our organizational chart as of to date. And we are submitting our budget with the help of the finance director. And I await your questions. We now have today we have 96 firefighters, and I think on roll we are to get 106 firefighters. So probably after August we're going to be hiring more firefighters. We're running 2 ambulances, 24 hours, 7 days a week. We are contemplating on, by the end of this month, to put an additional ambulance on, and we're going to run it 24 hours a day, 3 ambulances a day. That is staffing permitted. We're doing good with the ambulances. And the residents love us. Some of our residents send the private ambulances away and wait until we're available. So we're doing a real good job with our ambulances. We're going to open up station number 3. As you all know, it's been sort of browned out for about maybe a year and a half because of staffing. But as our staffing grows, we're going to open that station up, and we're going to run it 24 hours a day with ambulances and other apparatus.
10 minutes. Is there anyone who'd like to go first? Okay.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, ma'am.
And the ambulance are doing very well.
Yes, ma'am.
They are. And how many of your firefighters, or if any, are also paramedics?
We don't have,
I know
well,
they're
I shouldn't say that. We have paramedics. We have about 3 or 4 in the fire department that are paramedics, but we do not let any of them function as a paramedic.
Right.
Because we're only licensed for, our fire trucks are licensed for MFRs, medical first responders, and our ambulances are registered as basic life support.
Right, which means nothing intravenously or orally can be given. It was just a question to know if there were any paramedics. I know that the sheriff's department shows up for that.
Or other ambulances that
Right.
are paramedics.
Right. And so to the firefighters, I do commend them in the hard work. I was in the hospital a week ago with my uncle, and they were busy
Yes, ma'am.
coming in. Busy. I think just within 2 hours, I saw 6 of them at McLaren.
Yes, ma'am.
So I appreciate the work that they do. One of the biggest things with them is pay. Pay. They receive such good training all the way around, as far as with fires, first responding, EMT, and the pay. Are we losing any of our firefighters to other municipalities for higher pay?
That happens all over the country. And that's their option. But to your point, we don't have our people complaining so much about pay for the ambulance people. We pay them about, I think, right around $17 an hour, plus we pay them $200 a day extra every time they ride the ambulance. So some of our ambulance people that love being on the ambulance, they make more than a lot of the firefighters.
So
So
are
the
they,
ambulance people are not complaining so much.
so are they separate, the ambulance staff and those who are riding the rigs?
They are dual classified. Dual
Okay.
classified. We hold 42 firefighters in the ambulance program, meaning that they are mandatory riders of the ambulance. 42. And anything above the 42, they are not mandated to ride the ambulance.
Okay. So that's interesting. So I want to skip to, thank you for that, but I am still concerned at their pay, not just for the ambulance, but the firefighters. So they start at, is it $15? And they're in contract negotiation now, are they?
Starting this Friday.
Starting this Friday, they're in contract negotiation. Um, I would hope that we could see a livable wage for them. That is a hope, because they do a job where people go, everyone else is running out, they're running in. And the weight of that apparatus on them, I believe it's a 20-year, like your body, it breaks it down. And so I would love to see a higher pay for our firefighters. I don't want to see them leave to another municipality with all that great experience. Thanksgiving, we saw multiple fires, literally multiple fires, Rankin Street, Genesee Street. There were so many fires. And I know that they had to be exhausted on a holiday that they weren't spending with their family. Um, we were out
If
feeding
they're
them.
scheduled to work on a holiday, their family will have to visit them in the fire department.
Oh, I completely understand, because that's what I did with my husband and my children. And when
Yes, ma'am.
he was the fire marshal in
Yes, ma'am.
Saginaw, so I
They can
completely
visit the
understand.
next day.
Absolutely. He also sometimes had to come home to get a change of clothes with
Yes,
the
ma'am.
rig, because you can't leave that rig if he worked over. So I
Yes, ma'am.
understand. So I do want to make sure with pay with them, because that's a lot of exhaustion. They were literally, it was Detroit, I say Detroit Street still, but it's ML King now, all up and down there. There were a lot of fires. So I would like to see, since they start this Friday negotiation, I want to make sure that they're paid a livable wage. I do, because they're important, especially with the number of fires. So we had, was it last year, was it 353 intentional fires, which they considered to be arson. And I know we have a high stock of blighted homes that or vacant homes that people will go in and live. And I had one that should have been torn down with the fire escrow fund, but it was not torn down in October on Court Street, like Court and Ballinger. I turned that house in numerous times to be torn down. And I had to take the call with his sister stating her brother had died and his body was unrecognizable. So um, I appreciate what the fire department does. But as long as you have, I think it makes their job harder when we don't tear down these homes. It just does, because the people, I took a call today where they took a barrel inside the homes, and they called and said there were some drug users, and they took a barrel and heated up in the living room, and they thought the house was on fire, but it wasn't. They were controlling, I guess, with the barrel um, full of, where they started a fire. But we're not getting these homes torn down quick enough to where some of the homes, even when we do report them, it will catch the home next door on fire. And depending on which way the wind blows, and it makes your firefighters' jobs harder. So how many total fires did we have last year? Do we have that?
Total fires last year, calls, we had 3,608 fires, calls last year. The average calls per day are about 9 calls per day. Response time is 11.9 minutes per call. Average person on that call is about 8.
Okay, and are we response time to respond by, is it 6 or 7 minutes? Is that what our response time is supposed to be? But I know we're coming from all over.
We don't have a response time. Our response time can go a much longer, Councilwoman, if we got a fire going somewhere and there's calls that are waiting. They may wait a half hour, 45 minutes. But initial call, we demand our people to be out of the station in 2 minutes.
So that's dressed in their fire gear boots and in the rig and the process of getting out within 10
They
minutes.
better be.
Okay, and so that means they're on the way to the call. Okay.
What's your question?
Chief,
Response time is the time that they get the run from 911 center to the time that they log with the radio through 911 what the time they got to the call. That's called the response time.
and in addition, Councilman Jarrett, we also have, I've been to the 911 center. Flint has its own fire out at Genesee County on Corona Road, its own center and calls. So Flint is separate. It doesn't share. They have their own people. It's not shared with anybody else. So we have our own police and fire out to the 911 center. And I've been out there.
What does that mean? I'm curious at what you're
Yeah,
talking
that
about.
means that they have, so some municipalities share, other municipalities share in Genesee County. Flint has its own people for fire and police. So when the calls come in, there's just one person that takes the calls for police, one for fire. And then and on all the rest of them in Genesee County, they share. Flint does not. We have designated people because I was concerned, so I have spent time out there with the headphones on and taking calls and talking with the director out there, Tim Jones, and created a good rapport because I want to make sure our community is safe. And a lot of people don't know that we have our own person, people that are out there.
And additionally, you say we have our own, the city of Flint, we are in cooperation with all of the county firefighters. We have a mutual aid agreement.
Yeah.
That means if they need us, they call us and we leave Flint and go help our
Yeah,
brothers.
that's our MOU is not our mutual aid. So I get what you're saying. It's the same as the police with the mutual aid. So when you go, so all of the count, like say Mount Morris, Fenton, Flushing, if you call 911 from any other city, it's like a shared. Flint has its own individual. So say it would be me and Councilman Jarrett. We only take Flint calls. Everyone else shares as the numbers come in. We have a higher rate of calls from the city of Flint because we also have the largest population in the county too. And once we got rid of our 911 center, that's how that's in the MOU, how it went over there. It's interesting to go over. I went to see myself. Yeah. I'll finish up with the numbers. Thank you.
I'm sure she's gonna get another round. Believe me.
Hi, Chief. How's it going?
Hello, I'm doing fine.
Good, good. Hello. I just have a couple of questions here. I'm on the general fund for you. That's the handout I'm looking at right now. And I'm looking at the firefighting division fire station overhead. Consumers Energy standby fee. So help me understand a little bit more about that fee. And that's costing us 12,500. And I noticed blank 10,300 last year, and then 9,000 167 the year before. I know we've had an uptick in fires. When we say consumers energy standby fee, I'll go with my second question after you answer what exactly is
Well, the city
included.
of
Yeah.
Flint don't own electrical wires, first of all. And we get a lot of calls in bad weather that their wires are down and their wires are arcing. We'll respond initially, but if they don't get there to take care of their wires in a timely manner within maybe 45 minutes to an hour, I send them a bill.
All right, and so we're anticipating that we're going to send about 12,500. So, how is that fee structured? Is there like a baseline per weight, or is it maybe structured? If you're out there 20 minutes, then it's this amount. 30 minutes, then it's that amount, or is it just depending on? Well, it's just one down wire, or it's 20 down wires. How's that fee assessed?
It's the cost of service. We do the same thing with the Flint schools. We charge you for a fire truck. We charge you for the crew that's on the fire truck, whichever where their dollar rate is. We charge them for an executive, the battalion chief, and we charge all of that by the hour. With the school system, we even charge them for our water. If they're not going to board their schools up, and we go out initially for the lines, because sometime before this, consumers would have us out there for 6, 7, 8 hours watching their lines. That's what that's for.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then with the structure fire fee, notice in 24, 25, it was 66,000 and some change. Then with 2025, 26, it was 72 and a little bit over 72. But then here in 2026, 27, we have 100,000. What, help me understand.
Well, that's in the master fee schedule. If we put your fire out in your house, we're going to charge you $500. And if you got insurance, you'll turn that over to your insurance company. That's just basic rate in the master fee schedule that we charge automatically.
And so we're assuming that these are, when we charge that $500 and we have this 100,000, is this assuming that these structure fires are in homes that are people are living in?
Occupied.
Yes.
Correct.
Wow. And so that is quite an uptick. So we're figuring 30,000 more?
Well, when you're talking fiscal year, we only got a couple months, but we charge for our services, and it's been approved by this body
Hmm.
in our master fee schedule.
Okay. So when we're
Cost a
looking,
lot of money.
I see. When we're looking at the code enforcement illegal burns fee, 2024-25, we had a $70 fee. Then there was nothing there when we went to 25-26, but then 26-27, it's only 1,000. Help me understand. And when this says code enforcement fee, who pays that particular fee?
Code enforcement fee, we will charge that to that homeowner.
Okay.
And don't get mad at me, but I blame you guys because I came before you early this year, and we wanted a ordinance for burning. And those people, if they want a burning permit in their backyard to burn specifically seasoned dry wood in the perfect container and everything, that we would charge them about $50 to $100 a year, in which you all declined to give me that. So,
Understood. I was a declining vote. I stand by that.
yes,
With
ma'am.
this code enforcement illegal burns fee, only $1,000. That's all we're expecting from that, because I feel like you're
Well, the thing of it is, people burn for a lot of reasons. If you're in the backyard with your family and you got your grill going, we're probably not going to bother you, especially if you got a hot dog that you're thinking about.
there's a difference between there's a difference
but
between your
if you
barbecuing and your burning.
but if you in the backyard, a lot of people are smelting wires to get the insulation off of it, things like that. Then that's a bad situation or they're burning lots of rubbish, then we'll put it out. And if we have to go back there, then we will send our inspector to try to get them a fine. But
I-
that fine is quite low.
I think even with this $1,000, I think you're going kind of low, especially since I know for a fact we'll have a lot of people illegally burning.
So maybe we should bring that ordinance back before.
I'm still going to say no, but you can do whatever you like. The answer is still going to be no. She won't have a vote here. So here we go. Looking at the ARPA grant equipment vehicle, I think that is actually pretty self-explanatory. Never mind, I don't need to look at that. The demo remediation of fire land improvements. Noticed in, what was that, 24, 25, there's nothing there. But then 25, 26, we have the 500,000, and then 26, 27, we have the 500,000. Why is the number projected to be the same? And then with the 25, 26, was that the actual for 25, 26? Because I noticed it said amended budget. So was that the actual for that? Right. We haven't spent any yet? Okay. So it's just the same, just we're carrying over. And so we're just carrying it over. Okay. And what goes? Thank you. I appreciate your explanation. And what goes into the demo remediation? What goes into that?
I can't speak to demo remediation. I can't speak to that.
Chairwoman Priestley,
I
can
do
we
know
make a note? Because I want to know.
I do know we have structures
Yes.
that we try to have torn down emergency
Mhm.
because they are a hazard.
So if this 500 is in your budget, but another department does it, then they just turn around and bill you for it? Is that what's happening?
I believe that's how it happens.
Okay.
It's in reserved in my budget. So, like if we need DPW to come over and tear something down because
Mhm.
it's a hazard, then they take it out of that fund.
Thank you. That's very helpful. And then finally, inspection and training. I'm looking here under community promotion. I noticed 1 year nothing, next year 35,000, next year nothing. What's community promotion, and are we planning not to do any community promotion?
Community promotion is mainly the uh, the products we buy for fire prevention. We call it swag, and everybody comes over to get our swag, and we're about to move some money in there because this time of year and then fire prevention week
For sure.
and certainly some of you council people
You already know you'll see me.
come over and raid us.
Yes.
So that's where we get that money, and we're going to be transferring money in there because we're going to make a large purchase.
Do we know how much you're going to transfer?
Probably about $25,000 to $30,000.
25 to 30? Okay.
Yes,
Chief, you
ma'am.
already know what I'm gonna ask you, even though I know I bugged you tremendously last time, and I know
And you
had
know what?
we had to
sa-
have extensive
saved lives.
conversations.
It's
It
education.
does. It does.
And so we spend the money for fire prevention. That's important.
For sure. My next question is something that can be offered offline. I will yield.
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Question around going back to the ambulance service.
Ambulance? Yes, sir.
And I remember something coming before the council, and I believe it was approved for another ambulance. Was that the third ambulance and we already have procured it? Or do we need to procure a third that you mentioned earlier?
To date, we have 4 ambulances.
Okay.
And I think what you approved, we already have it. It's not in service yet because we're waiting on Motorola and 911 to put their electronics inside of it.
Okay, so we have 2 that are in service, two that are ready to be or in the process of being outfitted? Or is that third one already outfitted in?
The third one is already outfitted. We use that as a spare.
Okay,
And we just bought a brand new one we call 164. But Councilman, be aware that these ambulances run night and day.
oh yeah,
We started a year and a half ago. Some of those ambulances have 50 and 60,000 miles on them. And so we're going to be coming to you all regularly, at least once a year, to buy a new vehicle. And we're buying small, inexperienced vehicles. We pay $250 for an ambulance, and they can run as much as $750. But we're getting by with those cheaper ambulances. Yes, sir.
okay, and you made mention of an MRF,
MFR.
MFR, excuse
That's
me.
a
That's a
medical
certification you said,
first responder.
right?
That's a fire truck.
And then you mentioned that some carry dual classification. Some of the firefighters, I'm assuming, then get that MFR. Am I understanding that correctly?
No, sir.
Okay, help.
So let me understand the dual classification. Some firefighters went out on their own and received their paramedic license. That's on their own. What we regulate everybody to be is a medical first responder, an emergency medical technician, and to be firefighter 1 and firefighter 2 certified. So we're dual classified with the firefighter 1 and 2, and then the emergency medical technician. That is a right to work there. Everybody has to, but the chief. Everybody has to be with those two qualifications.
Firefighter 1, firefighter 2.
And
And-
emergency medical technician.
Okay, so everyone has to have that. Is that
Yes, sir.
correct? So all 96.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then you said 42 have something else. What was?
No, we require, because we run fire trucks and we run ambulances, we take the lower scale of our seniority all the way up to 42, because we feel that we can run successfully 42 people, 3 shifts, 7 days a week. So we cap it at 42 people that they have to ride the ambulance.
Okay.
They just have to ride the ambulance. They're in that scale that any time of the day or the hour, we can order them to ride the ambulance. Anything higher than 42, generally they remain on a fire truck.
Okay.
And if they go out on a medical run, they're going out as medical first responders.
Okay. So because we are in budget hearing, and I want to stay relevant to budget hearing, I'm also understanding in addition, or I'm in looking at numbers made to believe, in addition to saving lives, which adding a third unit may contribute to, it also can contribute revenue for the city. Is that a fair statement?
It's a fair statement, and we're still not getting to all of our residents. Those 2 ambulances running 24 hours, 7 days a week, there's still residents that we would like to also service. And we get complaints because the private ambulances come and they want their own service.
Right. Okay. I think I'll yield.
Thank you, Chief, for coming and answering our questions. I'm going to go to where we charge for the fires. I'm wondering if the $500, how does that fit in with other communities? around the area. If that's all we're charging is $500.
Well, keep in mind, our people pay taxes, and taxes are going up, up, up. The $500 is, we feel, is at least pays for the services of us coming there and helping a little bit. And again, that was approved by this council.
Right.
If you guys want to make it 2,000, I'd be glad to charge your residents $2,000 if you want.
Considering how many fires we've had at the schools and they're only paying 500, it's like, let's make it.
Well, not so, not so. Schools are different.
Okay,
When we've been getting Williams School a lot.
Yep.
We've been getting Northern. When we go to Northern and we're there, we charge them probably $1,000 an hour. Ma'am. Zimmerman, we
Central.
charge them. I have one secretary over there. That's all she does is charge those schools. Now, it's probably going to take the city council, all 9 of you guys going over there and getting our money from us, because sometimes they don't like to pay.
Well, I know that you and I, as well as I believe the mayor, were in a meeting with the school board, or well, the superintendent,
Yes.
and talked about the fees. And I don't remember how much they owed, quite a bit, like $25,000 at that time, and that was 2 years ago.
Yes, I believe we got some of that money.
Yeah, so we need to make sure that we can get that money. So since if we're charging the schools, can we charge the land bank?
Now you're getting political on me. I don't
I don't
know
want to
we
be, I don't want to be political.
I don't know we
But the
can.
fact of the matter is that if you go around our wards and some of these properties that are being burnt, there are squatters in some of these houses. We know that.
Most of them.
But there are arsons being sent in these properties. Is it because some of them cannot be sealed up? They can't be boarded up. The windows are all out on second, if it's 2-story building. There's a house on my street where the back end is blown out. There's another house in my ward where there's no back end of the house at all. There's a house on Woodrow with no walls on this, outer walls are gone on the side of the house. So how can you secure that?
Well, keep in mind when we are initially going to the fire, 911 don't tell us who owns the house.
Correct.
So it have to be after the fact. But if we get a house that's not approachable, sometimes we have houses that we call do not enter houses. We don't enter that house.
Okay.
And if we can't put it out from the outside, then it has to burn itself out.
I just want to make sure that people understand that this is not a political question. This is a situation where we are charging other units of government
Yes.
for responding of our fire departments.
Yes,
And the
ma'am.
land bank is another unit of government.
Yes, ma'am.
And they own the majority of the houses the vacant houses in this area.
Yes, ma'am.
And I also understand that they don't have a lot of funding. I just want to make that clear, and I'm not necessarily asking, I'm just saying, could we, if we wanted to?
If I'm directed to, ma'am, we would charge them as
Okay.
well.
Thank you. I just wanted clarification because it was a thought as we were talking about the schools.
Yes, ma'am.
For those houses that are burnt, that are still privately owned, and the people have walked away from it, do the fees for the fire go on the property taxes, which then end up at the county? Or are those sent to the owners of record of that property? Do we know, Mr. Moore? I think we should be taking these people to court for those kinds of things that they walk away
We
from.
send it over to the
But
Treasurer's
that's also
Department.
something that we're dealing
We
with in
send it to
another
the Treasurer's
ordinance that's coming up.
Department, and Amanda writes the bill out. And if they don't pay it, it goes on the taxes.
Okay, so that ends up unpaid
Yes,
because they're going back to the land bank and
yes,
the
ma'am.
land bank, exactly. So that's one of our problems. The fires in these is obviously a difficult issue. So I'm gonna go back to our EMS, our ambulances. I think that this is proven to be a very successful endeavor. And I know that it doesn't cover all of our costs. Maybe what we bill covers our costs, but because of the contractual between insurance companies and stuff, I think this is a good rate that we're receiving about 50% of what we're billing.
Right around 48%. Keep in mind that most of our insurances inside the city of Flint is mostly Medicare, Medicaid, as they say, Obamacare, things like that. If we're outside the realms of the city, then they get into the Blue Crosses, the more heavier insurances that they're paying, sometime $1,200 per run. Our normal runs here is about $350.
Oh, that's not bad at all. And that's primarily, we're not advanced life support, so we can't charge as much as the other
No,
ambulances.
that's basic.
Yeah,
Basic. They're getting $750 to $1,200 per run.
now, if we open up, when we open Fire Station 3, we have new equipment out there that would be used. We don't need additional equipment to keep that one open. We just now have the staffing to manage it.
We have the 3 ambulances with the 4th ambulance coming on board shortly.
Okay,
So
what about fire apparatus?
we have fire apparatus, as you know. This council approved for us to buy a new pumper, $1.2 million, and that's to be put in service shortly as well.
Okay, and the equipment in Fire Station 3 has been replaced, because didn't we replace all of our fire engines?
No,
Because, okay, I know that we had some with holes in it where they were using stop signs to keep their feet from going through the
oh
floor.
no, we don't have that
Those are
problem.
gone.
We don't have that problem. No, ma'am.
Okay, good. I wanted to make sure that,
No
that
problem.
the equipment was adequate for Fire Station 3 if
Yes,
that
ma'am.
was a problem.
We
Okay,
took care of that problem.
all right. There was one other question I had, and oh, I think it got answered. I think Ms. Machette took that over. So I think we've got enough time. We go until 8 o'clock. So if people want to do another 10-minute round, go ahead and take your full 10 minutes. And if you don't, that's fine.
Get us our second round. Yeah. Okay, Chief, real quick.
Yes.
So prevention, and that seems to be the big issue. And tracking some of these fires, they seem to be using accelerants because they go up in a flame.
Mhm.
And there's nothing you can do but watch it burn for the safety of the firefighters. So do you still do the prevention in the schools?
I'm glad you said that. We just had a test for prevention. We had one person to pass, and we promoted him into prevention. Now we have 2 people in prevention bureau. A city this size must have a prevention.
Yeah.
And so they have been ordered by me to deal with the schools, daycares. That's why we're buying all this swag. For we're
The swag.
and so it is vital important to have a prevention bureau, and hopefully we're going to get one more person in there. They will be going out to senior citizens centers. They will be going to senior citizens high rises, because if we can't prevent the fires, then we're doing nothing but spinning our wheels, because there will be fires.
Yeah,
And if we can't prevent them, we're in trouble.
yeah, and I think the prevention is critical
Yes,
in
ma'am.
learning how to handle a fire and what type of fire, because
Yes,
every
ma'am.
fire isn't one that you put water on
Yes, ma'am.
at all.
You got to be the most versed in firefighting, so.
I studied with my ex-husband, okay? We needed, I did. I quizzed him, okay? I honestly did. He needed a job with some insurance and we had little kids.
Yes, ma'am.
So it was for our family at the time.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I read them books with him. So um, with the ambulance rate, and I do want to touch on that, with them going out. So we have a 50% collection rate, and $2,494,071 was billed. We received $1,256,000, $796 back. So we have, that's out there not collected, 1,237 and $237,275 that's not collected. Is that because is that the Medicare you were speaking to,
Yes,
or
but you're
no
not,
insurance at all?
but you're not gonna get it. Because when we
Okay.
send a bill in, we have a, ambulance billing company. When we send that bill to the insurance company, they discount that bill. We can't go fight them for that discount.
Okay.
Uh, we can't do it. So we get what we get.
Okay, thank you for that, Chief. I appreciate you because I just wanted to expand it. So they have a certain amount of rate that they're going to pay for ambulance. Each
Yes,
insurance company,
yes,
depending on who and what type of, or if you have insurance. So
yes, ma'am.
your billable rate is not the rate that you get back
Yes, ma'am.
necessarily. You get back what's already pre-approved in your health insurance program, if
Yes.
you have one.
We just
That's
partner
awesome.
with the Veterans Administration.
Okay.
They pay lots of money, Veteran Administration. They can pay us up to $1,500. So they have approved us. So anybody that's a veteran, we're gonna get a lot more money.
Okay, so I want to go on to, because this was interesting to me, because I've always been supported and I don't, in our fire prevention, and also it's CO2. So I had a lady call and state literally that she could not get that she called 911 and they said that the fire department would not be dispatched. We're talking about prevention. She ended up going to the hospital. She had gas, had been poisoned, her and her family. And the difference is she called me while she was at well, they tagged me on Facebook and I said, call me. And she had actually had a gas leak in her home and they would not, consumers, if you call consumers, and I called for her, this was Saturday, about 9:30 p.m. with her on another line listening. Um, they stated if you don't say gas, they don't come out. That they say call the Flint Fire Department 911. We know that CO2 is a byproduct of gas.
No,
Or well, I'm talking if you're
no,
your furnace.
no. Let me stop you.
Well, yeah, hold on, let me finish. So if your furnace is not, say you have your furnace is not functioning properly, then it gives off, it emits what? Gas or CO2?
You keep saying CO2. That's why I want to stop there.
Okay, go ahead.
CO2 is carbon dioxide.
Correct.
That's harmless. CO is carbon monoxide.
Right, well, I'm
That'll
sorry, it's
kill
carbon
you.
monoxide.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so thank you for that correction.
Yes, ma'am.
And so her carbon monoxide was going off.
Yes, ma'am.
And she called consumers and they wouldn't come. They said the Flint Fire Department is supposed to come.
Well, they only police their gas, and they won't come out. They feel that that is a fire or medical problem. But we will come out. I'm surprised no one called the fire department. But we will come out.
Yeah, and I'll shoot an email to you because she did not. And so we're talking about prevention. She just happened to call and stated, what was going on. But
Mhm.
I did not know that. And then they stated that the fire department didn't have the tools to take care of it.
That's not true.
That's what I'm like, well, do we need to fund him for the proper tools?
Don't
or-
need tools.
Okay,
We
right.
just open up the doors and windows.
And let it out.
Yeah.
And then, but then you cap the gas, cut the gas off?
Carbon monoxide doesn't come from the gas, the consumer gas. That's totally different.
So if it's a furnace fault, because she had a program where she had the furnace. She just got a new furnace from consumers.
Carbon monoxide is a byproduct of combustion.
Okay, but I'm saying from the furnace.
Yes, ma'am, you got it.
Exactly. That's what she had just had
You got it.
a furnace that was put in.
You got
And
it.
so I didn't understand when they're telling him that the Flint Fire Department, because I know you got some tools. I picked up one at a scene and made sure you got the fire pick that you cracked the doors open with.
Right.
But
Yeah. I
So-
wish you give me that because I want to investigate that.
I will give you her name.
Yes,
I,
ma'am.
I will give you her name and her phone number.
Okay.
I will do that before I leave. And thank you for clearing that up because she was frustrated.
Yes,
She had
ma'am.
her grandchild there also. So I'm going to go back to with the 353 arsons that we had. Do we know were those mostly vacant or homes that were owned by land bank or?
They were mostly open and accessible places.
Okay.
People love to burn. We Americans, there's something about
Yeah.
fires, and if they cannot be detected, they're gonna set it afire.
That's like Zimmerman School.
Yes, ma'am.
They stay setting Zimmerman on fire.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we're billing, and I'm going to be at the next school board meeting to speak about it
Yes,
because
ma'am.
I'm getting calls and they have drones. One of my residents, Michael Kraft, he records them with this drone.
Wow.
And so he's got license plates and he's got,
I wish he'd give it to us.
I absolutely, I will give it to you because he calls me 24/7. I will give you that because his drone catches the license plates, the people coming in and out, and the schools are not properly boarded up or secured. They're not, and we keep having this problem. And I know Zimmerman put barricades around because dumping was another problem.
Mhm.
Same thing with Northern. Well, they done burnt Northern down pretty much. I don't know if it's much left.
Well, just to let you know about Northern, we refuse to go in there now because the roads are impassable.
Yeah,
You can't even get down the road.
from
So-
the dumping.
from the dumping. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and that's a shame because that was a nice school.
Yes, it was.
Okay, yeah, and so what is the average? What is the salary for a firefighter?
Ah. The starting salary is $15.91 an hour for a firefighter.
So do we have do I need to multiply? They're doing what, 10 days a month, which equals, so we're going to say they're going to do 40 hours a week. Do we have a salary?
And see, you got to realize that $15.91 an hour, they work 100.8 hours a pay period.
Right.
So that 15 equals to a larger number than just $15 an hour.
Thank you. Actually, real brief, because I believe Councilwoman Burns already asked my question because I was done with the other stuff. I'm just on the ambulance services now. And it was just a matter of, I think you already answered it as far as the collection of the 1,256,796, what was left over from the 2 million. Do we have any plans on collecting it, especially if they discounted it out? What do we do then? We just take that loss?
Take what you get.
Not you get what you
Take
get,
what
don't
you
throw a
get.
fit.
Like when I go get my dental work, my insurance is only going to pay my dentist so much money,
Mm-hmm.
and he tries to charge me, but no, you get what you get.
So once insurance is paid what they were going to pay, you then bill the person? Is that what happens? Or do we just take the loss? And if we're taking the loss, go ahead.
You could bill the person that $2.4 million. I don't think we'd be popular.
Mhm. Do we have a contract that says that?
I'm not sure. I can check with our billing company, Spywan. I'll check with them in the morning to see if that contract exists.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is how much of a loss do we actually take from this 50% rate? Like, how much of a cost is that to us in the end?
You know, I never figured it that way, and I apologize.
No,
But,
let me tell you
but
why you're okay with that, because you're in the humanitarian part of it, and I understand that. And normally I would be too. But right now I'm in the budget part of that. So I just need to know numbers of eh, are we absorbing that cost or is it an actual loss for us? I just need to know what happens with that.
well, we never see it, so we don't.
So do you
We don't. We never see it, and
so I guess
you're
my
not going
question
to
is
see it.
I guess my question to you then, are we building in an absorption in the budget for this or what happens? Thank you. That is very helpful. For those at home who did not hear him, the budget is based on what we believe we're going to collect. So we don't even count the other half of this anyway. If we happen to get it, then it just becomes a surplus. Sounds good. I yield.
So I guess for me, maybe to take that line of questioning one step further, um, for the amount that is collected, the 1.2 whatever it is, the 1.256 million, that does cover the expense of that operation? Okay, then I'm good. I yield.
I'm just going to ask, do we need to add $25,000 to $30,000 for community promotion into your budget that you gave us? Is that what you are asking us to do? Or are you
No.
planning on doing a transfer after we approve the budget?
We're going to transfer it. I think even before you approve our budget, we're going to
Okay.
transfer it.
So you
from
won't need any additional money for next year? It's just, you're going to spend
just
it
only
this
what
year?
we budgeted for.
I just said
Only.
it.
You're going to do an additional 30,000 is
Well,
what you're
I was
asking?
wondering if we needed to do that when we go to approve the budget, is add the money for promotions, because you kept saying you were going to transfer it. So is that going to be in the fiscal year 26? Or are we going to need it for fiscal year 27? When are those expenses going to occur?
I would say after July 1 because it's April now. So
And would we be doing an adjustment, or are you asking us for an additional 25 to 30,000?
an additional.
Okay, thank you. That's what my question was. All right.
Thank you.
Seeing how everyone's asked, did you have any more, Ms. Burns? Because I think you ran out of time. Okay, go ahead.
Real quick, so we're doing $15.91 per hour. Is that based on a 40-hour work week?
100.8 hours.
100.8 hours.
Oh, I'm sorry, 50.4 times 2 weeks, it'll be 100.8. So that's what they work. Firefighters only work
'Cause they
8
sleep there.
days. Firefighters only work 8 days per month.
Okay, because I'm trying to figure out their pay.
Is there overtime, anything over 40 hours in a week?
The financial manager at the time did something with not only everybody in the city, they have to work 212 hours before they get overtime. So if they're working 50.4 hours and they work a 24-hour shift overtime, it's not overtime until the conglomerate is 212 hours. And that came from the financial manager way back when. And it's the fair labor,
Yeah, so they get, I know, do they get Kelly days still?
correct. That's why they only work 8 days per
Right,
month.
because they get the Kelly days.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Moore, can you figure out the salary and let us like annually what they're getting? Yeah, if you can get that, because like I said, with the Kelly days, now do they still get a 1099 for uniforms and other things?
No,
Oh, they don't? Okay.
we buy uniforms.
So you buy everything for them, their boots
Correct,
and everything?
correct.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
We
if you,
buy everything.
okay. All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so it's now 7:28, and I'm going to call this hearing to a close. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Uh, Councilwoman, $41,696 per firefighter. $41,696.92. 41.6. That's a good salary. It's better than McDonald's. Can they do what?
Work the rig, work the fire truck and the ambulance.
Correct. They do.
They will rotate according to their shifts.
Yes, ma'am. 41.6. That's a lot of money. And our firefighters that we're hiring are between 18 and 25 years old. Well, you know what? I done heard so much about him. I gotta meet him. I I got something to tell him.
I'm gonna see y'all in the morning, family. Since this thing is over with, I'll see y'all in the morning. I'm gonna see y'all in the morning, family. I'll let you know I have my phone still up. I'll see y'all in the morning, family. We gonna, winters will be on tomorrow. So y'all be safe. And I'm just gonna hit y'all with a little Zayna on our way out. So make y'all support the sister. I'll see y'all in the morning.
Zayna Eccles, and I'm the owner of Zayna Chantel LLC. It's right here in Flint, Michigan. I started my business over 10 years ago following the water crisis. I suffered from skin irritation and even hair loss. I tried spending my money on all natural products in stores, and they just didn't work. I formulated these three products: my Jasmine Rice Water Hair Cream, my Lang and Lime Hair Growth Oil, and Lang and Lime Hair Growth Spray. Customers have shown me and told me of all the wonderful things my products have done for them. So if you'd like to check it out, visit zanachantel.com and use code 810 for 25% off your next order. Remember, be natural, stay beautiful.